All right. I believe that everything is up and running and we are recording. Um, I did put this out on a live stream and I really didn't put it out there to invite anyone. This is the first live stream or webinar is what I call it, podcast or whatever you want to call it, video that I am doing. And it is very, very terrifying to do, but I'm putting this out and it's all about trucking, about sales, about helping your business grow. And so I don't know if there'll be any participants, that would come on the live stream, which is fine, but I do want to get this recorded and put it out there. And as time goes on, I'll get more proficient at this whole thing because right now this is all brand new to me in terms of putting this all together, and it's very interesting, but at the same time, it's terrifying. So let's see here. I just want to make sure I get on screens that are going to be as we go through this whole thing. Okay, so here I am. My name is Paul, and why am I here? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about me and why I'm here, what brought me here. My name is Paul, and I am actually the creator of Freight Connect, FR8 Connect. And Freight Connect has been around for a long time, I say, since 2015, somewhere in there. And the reason why I established Freight Connect is because I was operating as a broker before, and I realized that there are a lot of carriers out there that wanted to grow their business. And for some reason, they were not doing the things to help grow their business. They just operated as business as usual. You go to a load board, you find loads, call up the broker, get the load, move the product, and you continually do that over and over and over again. So as we know, this is in the spot market that's done. And it's like, you know what? You got to get out of the spot market if you really want to grow as you say you want to, because there were many carriers, over the or owner operators, asset-based companies that wanted to grow their company beyond just the one or two trucks, and really take off. And the idea was then if that's the case, at least in my mind, you got to find your own clients, right? So why don't you do that? So we tried to, at least I tried to instruct carriers to do that. Um, but it didn't make sense to them. It made sense to do it, but how to do it? What does it take? There's a lot of things that they did not know. And so I wanted to be able to provide that information to help them. But then I realized that, you know what, this is about sales, is what it is. And also I realized that owner operators were companies that they got into the business in various ways. Maybe there was someone that knew about that was in the industry. It could have been an uncle, a relative, a friend, or whoever it might have been. Gave them information about the industry and said, "You can make a lot of money doing this. You can do it. This is the industry that you need to be in." And so they decided to take them up on that. And once they got into it, they realized it was a whole nother world, right? And so there were a lot of things that they did not understand. And it wasn't totally the fault of that person that advised them to get into the business, because that person didn't. There were things that they did not know, right? So, um, with that, not having the entire story, um, you would see a continual repeat of people getting into the business and really not understanding parts of the business. And as I say, part of the business, this is a business, right? You can get into it and just try it if you want. You can get into it and really be serious about it. This is something that I want to make to be successful at. And there's a low barrier to entry, so it's definitely easy to get into, but to sustain it, right? To keep it going and to grow it, that is the challenge. So the idea is, okay, if I'm in this business and I want to grow my business, I want to be in this business for the long haul, and I want to be successful at it. There's a lot of things I know that it offers me, but there's a lot that I need to offer it in order to reap the benefits of having this business. And there were a lot of things that a lot of carriers did not understand. And I wanted to be able to bring that information to them to help them be successful. So that is where Freight Connect started, right? I had been in brokering prior to that for several years, and but my mind has always been surrounded around growing something, whether it's just an idea or whether it is, you know, I guess mainly really an idea. It can be an idea that you just come up with out of just by sitting on the porch one weekend, and you really think it's a great idea, or it could be because something happened where you had to provide a solution for yourself, and when you provided that solution, it probably would benefit many other people. And then you decided to turn it into something and offer it to multiple people. And it becomes a business. It could become a business, but not everyone is thinking in those terms, is thinking, all right, what are the pieces, the components that will allow me to turn this into a business, right? If someone tells you, hey, go out and get you a truck, you pick up freight and you'll get paid. Sounds easy enough. And if it sounds a little bit too easy, then probably there's something missing, right? And in our industry, there have been a lot of carriers out there that have gotten into this business and did not know what those other components were. So here we are, and we have done sales for many, 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 many multiple years, not just in trucking, but in other industries, right? And today, what I'd like to share, well, as far as me coming on and having this moment, this webcast or webinar or whatever we want to call it, I just want to be able to share. I've been wanting to do this for a long, long, long time, and I finally figured, all right, this would be a good time to do it. Why? It's just the time to do it. It's like, just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. Nike took that from me, but that's okay. That saying, but just do it. Okay. So here we are. And what I'm wanting to present today is, and I want to do this on a weekly basis and bring different things, whether there are topics, current events that are out there that we can talk about, that we can address, and then just talk about some fundamental, foundational things in trucking, especially when it comes to sales. When it comes to sales, that is the big, because sales is not just about trying to get someone to give you their loads, right? It goes into a whole lot of other things, right? If you're wanting to recruit and bring people aboard to your company, sales is involved, right? If you're looking to go get new equipment, right? You have to build relationships, and I think that's probably the better way to look at it. Building relationships, how do we do that? What does that look like? Not just from the standpoint of the process to building relationships, but what's the purpose of it, and how can we make that a foundation of what we do, of our business, even of ourselves, because we're always selling and creating relationships, developing relationships. It doesn't have to be just on the professional front. That's also at home in your own household, right? That's in anything that you do. If you go sign up to go to school, there are relationships that are built in that classroom, even with the instructor. When you build relationships, you can get a lot further than if you don't, right? There are people that know things that you don't know. It's not just about getting something from them, because there are things that you can provide that can help them, right? There's a mutual benefit to relationships. And those that grow and develop in a strong way, it is a back and forward thing. Both sides develop, grow together, and it's a good thing, because we don't want to stay stagnant, right? If you have a trucking company and it is not moving, it's not going anywhere, literally not moving, the truck is not moving, right? Then you're not making any money. You don't have a business, you know. A business has to make money. It has to make money to sustain and to grow. So here, what we'd like to do is be able to have these type of conversations and be able to talk about some things that can really be of benefit. Okay, and so those are the things, some of the things that we would like to bring on a weekly basis. And I'd love to hear from you guys in terms of, you know, what you think about some of the things that are said. And then also some things that you may have interest in. I'd love to hear that, and then we could address some of those things as well. But for today, the topic that I wanted to talk about is mindset. You know, a lot of people might, I don't know, a lot of people might not want to talk about that, hear about it, but I believe that mindset is everything. And when I say everything, I'm talking about in terms of being able to be successful, right? And when I say successful, that doesn't mean it has to be something that's life-changing to the world, you know, but what I'm talking about is something that makes a difference, okay? With having the right mindset, there are many things that can be achieved, no matter how small or how great they might be. And the thing is that if we're looking to establish a business, and I'm talking about the trucking company, and more in particular at this point, you have to have the right mindset. You know, if you think about it, which, you know, we go from one extreme to the other, having a great mindset to having a mindset that is not so great, right? Is on the crappy side. Um, it can be very, very challenging on that end. It can be we can create challenges that don't exist for ourselves, right? And but mindset is everything. I mean, you can have a mindset where, you know, you analyze everything, you know, and it takes you time, and I can be challenged with that. It takes time to get to that next step, you know, or to get on and hit the button and say let's go live, and have everyone listen to you who decides to listen to you on the internet, or say, you know what, I don't know, am I going to sound this way, am I going to sound that way, um, how am I going to look, what are people going to think, on and so forth. I mean, there's many things that can go through your mind, right? Am I going to say the right thing, you know, is it going to make sense? And all these things are right up here and keeping you from moving forward, you know? So we can continually have that movie playing in our head, and it doesn't do us any good, right? So in being able to transform from there, from that mindset, you know, to a productive mindset, you know, a positive mindset, you know, it takes work. And there is, as I said, information that I do have that I'd love to share. I think I mentioned that, but I have some information that I did put together some time ago in regards to mindset. It's called "Cultivating the Right Mindset for Success," and there's quite a bit of good information in here, I think, and I'd love to share it with you if you'd like. You know, you can send me a message, and I can send that information to you, or you can give me a call. You can give me a call at 866 342 0040, extension 109. Again, that's 866 342 0040, extension 109. Or you can send me an email, and that is at Paul, sorry, PAUL.K at FR8, the number 8, connect.com. So that's Paul.K at FR8connect.com. All right. And you could just say, you know, I'm interested in the mindset article, and I'd love to get that over to you. But at any rate, in regards to mindset, there are so many things that we can accomplish, that we can achieve just by having the right mindset. There's many things that I can think of throughout my life, that I've dealt with where mindset was everything. It made the difference between not being successful to being successful. I can remember when I got out of college and got my first real job, right? It was in the mortgage industry. And we did second mortgages, we did personal loans, we did insurance, things of that nature. And so I was learning things that I had never known before, right? So I got the job. Someone that I knew or knew of told me to come out to his place of business and said, let's talk. And we talked. He said he hired me. I didn't realize I was hired. He gave me the job, and man, it was very challenging in the beginning. It was like as if you were to start your trucking company. There are things that you need to know. There's a low barrier to entry in getting into the trucking business, but there's a lot of stuff that you need to know and that you're responsible for, right? So when I got into the business, in that business back then, when I got out of college, there was a lot of things that I needed to know, things that I did not know. I knew nothing about homes, houses. I'm a college student. I was, but I never bought a house before, so I didn't know anything about that, what that was all about. I didn't know anything about the mortgage, the deed, I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know anything about insurance, I didn't know anything about filing. I didn't know anything about fees, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about all that, right? And going out to visit homes, to visit with the clients and check out the house and look through and know what to look for, in a house. Because we had to do appraisals. We had to order appraisals, but we had to pre-approve them, before we did the appraisal. So we had to go out there and make sure that the house was of value, worth doing a second mortgage on. So I didn't understand that. I didn't know all that. I didn't know about dealing with the banks. I didn't know about that whole process. There was a lot of things I did not know, documents that I needed, of their employment, of their income. There was so many different things. I haven't thought about these things in years, but and I mean, it's been a while. But these are things that I had to learn, right? And I had to learn about putting documents together and submitting them to underwriting, understanding underwriting's language. If we needed to go back and rework some things, or something got denied, or a credit report, how do we look and read this stuff? What do we do in certain situations? I did not know, right? This was all new to me. So the reason I'm telling you this is when I did get this job, I had a boss that to me seemed like I was supposed to know all of this. I went to college. I'm supposed to know these things. I didn't take accounting. It wasn't required. He looked at me when he found that out, like that like society has failed me and I wasn't worthy, And so it's like, man, I got to deal with this guy every day. This is pretty challenging because he really was not encouraging in the sense that he didn't meet me where I was at. So I had to just deal with that, put up with that, and figure it out. I had to figure some things out on my own. If I didn't want to go to him, I had to figure it out. And even if I did go to him, it didn't mean that I was going to get the information that I needed in the way I needed to for it to be given to me so I can understand. It was okay. I was not going to be defeated, right? So I decided then I am going to make some mistakes. That is going to happen. I am going to try and learn from my mistakes. That was going to be my teacher. That was how I was going to learn. That was what I decided, right? We had quotas. We had to bring in so many opportunities every month. We had to, close so many deals. We had to have so much in insurance each month. I couldn't make people sign on the dotted line for something they didn't want, but I had to figure this out. I had to learn this stuff. And in that process of learning and learning through my experiences and failures and things of that nature, um, it was very. I said, man, if I'm going to be at this company for any time period, this is going to be a struggle. This is going to be a long struggle. You know, I was there at that branch for a year, and I got the opportunity to transfer. I didn't want to transfer because I didn't want to go to the state that they were sending me to, and it was just I just never thought about working in that state. I mean, I thought about the big states, California, New York, Florida, whatever the big names, but Kansas, I was not interested in going into the middle of Kansas, but my dad talked to me and he was like, Paul, this is a great opportunity. This is how the world works. And I said, all right, Dad, I'm gonna do it. So I went and I thought that, hey, this would be a breath of fresh air. This is going to give me a whole nother outlook on this company and life. And so I did go, and over time, didn't take much time for me to realize this. I realized that this guy, my new boss, was almost the exact replica of my previous boss. And one of the things that one of the ways I knew that, not just through the interaction, but they talked every day. When I was at my first office, my boss was he was on the phone like an hour every day with someone, and he would talk low. I didn't know what they were talking about, but it was this guy that he was talking to every day. And whatever they were talking about, I have no idea, but those two were they were the same guy. So I had not improved in that situation. I hadn't improved my situation in that case. But as far as that goes, I'm there, and it's like, okay, I know how I operated before. That's what I'm going to do this go around. And I went out there, got some deal opportunities, brought them back to my boss, and he turned down a lot of opportunities. Really didn't give me a good reason why, other than he just felt that the deal wasn't going to work because he didn't want to lose money on the deal. What would happen is if we pushed the deal through, took all the docs, submitted it, we had to order an appraisal. And if we ordered an appraisal, we would lose like $300, each time we did an appraisal. Now, that was a lot of money back in the day. I don't know how much appraisals are today, maybe 500. I'm not sure. I don't know. But it was $100 or $300. And so he would turn a lot of deals down. And I mean, to the point where it's like, why are you bringing me these deals? Why did you even go out to go visit with this potential client? And so we had a stack. I built up a stack of rejects. It was hard for me to hit quota because all my things were getting rejected. But through it all, I continued to press through. Now, he wasn't there that long, while I was there, when I transferred there, he ended up getting transferred. I don't know what it was, maybe 2-3 months later, 3 months, maybe. I'm not sure. But whatever the case was, is he transferred. We had gotten a new guy to come in, that came in at my same position. And when he left, the boss left, we were without a boss for a while. And so I decided, hey, let's go back to the old deals, the ones that got rejected. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and push them through. It's like, what? Let's work smarter than harder. Let's go out. We don't want to go out and get more deals and then we reject them. We were the only ones that could evaluate, the opportunity. So we could say yes or no, whether we put it through or not. And we were like, yeah, let's go back and do that. Man, we went back and we redid all of them and reviewed them all and put a lot of them through and tested the waters, and it took off. I mean, it took off. And so by the time we got our new boss, who got a promotion to that position, she was a superstar, I mean, we were motoring. All she had to do was just come in, sit at the seat, and wait for 5 o'clock, go home, and do it all over again the next day. It was an incredible and enlightening situation. And what I mean by that is I look back on my time, the time that I put in from my first boss, when I first got hired, all the way up to that point, and I noticed that, realized that um, I put in some work, one, and I learned even through failure, and I learned a lot. And third, I never gave up. And fourth, I identified opportunities, in that whole process. And whether it was, I don't know, it was a year and uh, 3 months, I don't know, something like that. So I learned all this, right? And not did only my boss become pretty successful or known within the company, our branch office became known. And then the guy that hired me, he was the district manager. He took notice and of what we had done, you know, and it was a great thing. Our office was buzzing. We had a great time. We enjoyed each other. It just flipped, it just flipped overnight. But I had to put in the work. I had to have the right mindset. I had to develop the right mindset. Maybe my mindset was already developed in that way that, hey, this is how I approach things. But if you think about it, I could have said, you know what? I don't want to be here. This is not fun for me. I'm not going to deal with this. I don't like feeling this way. And I understand that, right? But you have to sometimes stop and figure out, what can I do about this situation? What can I do in this situation? What is it? What do I have control over? Right? What is it that what do I have control over? How can I break this down to have little wins that are going to take me from step one to step two to step three to step four and ultimately to hit my goal, right? I don't plan to be on here much longer, maybe another 15 minutes at the most. So I wanted to keep it as short as possible. But at any rate, what is it that I can do? What is it that can be done? You know, so that the next day I come in, there's a little more success. There might be it might fall back a time or two, but I'm still going to hustle and I'm still going to do the things that I need to do that are going to help me to go to the next level. Because where I'm at is not where I plan to be tomorrow, as in a week or two or months down the road. Everything that I'm doing now is going to pile on top of what I already know. And eventually I'm going to be here. It's just that I have to put that work in. And this mindset allows me to do that, allows me to not see a roadblock that prevents me from progressing, but to see a roadblock, whether it's that boss, or whether it's that learning curve or whatever it is, to see that as a stepping stone, as an opportunity, as an opportunity. Now, me saying all this, again, I'm in sales. That's what I've done for a long time, and so this type of mentality definitely works well in sales, but it works well in all other phases of business, even in your personal life, right? So when I say this, I mean, if we think on the level of CEO, not to say, hey, look, whether you've not started your business, you haven't started your trucking company, or you don't know what you want to do or whatever. I'm not telling you to think, all right, I'm moving in as a CEO. That's who I am and what I'm going to do and what I'm going to be. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, and if here's the thing. As a CEO, CEOs don't get there just because they go to school to be a CEO, right? A lot of the CEOs that I know of, they work their way to that position. There are some good CEOs, there are some that are not so good. But the idea is this: if as you go along the way to that CEO level, there are things that you're going to learn and continue to learn at that position because things change all the time, right? We can Technology causes things to change all the time. But at that level, you are not, it's not, you're not the one who tells people what to do and they just do it. Maybe there's situations out there that are like that. I'm sure there are. But in terms of your attitude about it all, you need these people. You need the people that are in various roles in order to be successful. You might have a vision, but you need these people to help bring that vision together. You may have a trucking company, maybe you just started it, and you need to put in a lot of work, stuff you didn't even think about, just to keep rolling, right? And then as you bring people aboard, they're going to follow your lead. They're going to follow your vision. So you have to be not just a leader, but it's like what makes a leader. You have to be able to, with your vision, you have to be able to formulate it so people can understand it, to get it, right? And you have to be able to inspire people and put people in the role that where they're going to be successful and give them what they need so that they can be successful and provide them with that support, you know, because you want them to be successful. You want them to be able to do whatever it is that they are to do without you always being there. You want multiple people within your company to be that, but you have to be the one to guide them there, to be able to support them to get there, right? And if you have the right mindset, whether it's just in management, you know, as a boss over me coming out of college, you know, and maybe you have certain preconceived notions of what that should look like, me coming out of college, but understand where that individual is at. How are you going to make them successful? What is it that you're going to be able to do that, right? So you have to take on the mindset of being supportive and teaching, right? And for you to be able to teach, you have to teach yourself or you have to get some teaching from somewhere, right? So to start your company and you get into this business, there are things that you can do to learn about the business before you get into it, before you actually decide, I am going to have my trucking company and I'm gonna set it all up because that's easy to do, and I'm just gonna roll. There's more to the story. Where do you go to get that information? Well, you come to Freight Connect. I'd love to talk to you about it, you know, even if you've been in the business a while, because there could be an area that you're stuck in, all right? And having the right mindset, one of the things is, hey, I am not afraid to talk to someone about it. Not saying that you are, but I'm just giving an example where if you have the right mindset, there are people out here that are willing to help. Okay. And there are resources and things of that nature. Yeah, we have some things that we can do to help when we're talking about, you know, sales and, you know, developing these relationships to help your business grow. That's very important. It's vital, right? And when we talk about that, I don't care to get political, right? I mean, I guess politics comes up, you know, it's a part of the world, it's a part of our world, right? But as far as that goes, um, so I'm not picking one side or the other, but in our climate today, our economic climate today, political climate today, you know, we know what's going on. There's tariffs that that are in place, you know, tariffs that are being threatened. There are tariffs that, you know, that are just creating a lot of interesting situations. We've got other geopolitical things going on. We've got, you know, wars. We've got, you know, the efforts to establish peace. You know, we have energy things that are going on. There's just so many different things that are happening. Um, and especially here domestically. And how do you deal with all that, right? When you listen to the news, if you haven't really paid attention to it, or if you have, you will notice that there's a lot of talk about relationships, right? Whether it's our as a country, our neighbors to the north, our neighbors to the south, these are relationships that have been built over time, right? And even though maybe there needs to be some adjustments in policy and things like that, the relationship is very, very important. The relationship is very, very important to nurture. It's an ongoing thing, you know. And when that relationship is either hit, taken advantage of, or not valued, it can create a whole different scenario that you may not have wanted to get into, you know. And this is on a personal level as well. If you can say your neighbor next door, it could be a same situation, someone that you've had this relationship forever with, or just a friend that you know, or even within your family, in-house, or someone that's cross country, or in another country, whatever. It could be on the job. It can be in trucking. Relationships are so vitally important. When you are trying to build your company, any business, businesses are built off of relationships. When you're trying to get business from a shipper, and if you're able to build a relationship with them, build that rapport, establish a relationship, they won't mind doing business with you. Why? Because they like you. They trust you. They feel they know you. You have something in common, you know? Relationships matter. So instead of them going somewhere else, they're coming to you. And if someone else comes along that wants to take that business, they may say no, or they may talk to you first. They talk to you first, and then you guys talk about it and figure out some things, and you move on. They don't come and bash you over the head and say, you do this or else, because you've been taking advantage of me forever. Maybe if it's been, you know, that type of situation where they have really, really, really been taking advantage of you, you know, but for the most part, no. You know, they might even go to another company, right? But just because that happens, you know, they use a different carrier. Just because that happens, that doesn't mean that you have to end that relationship, right? Or it has to go sour. It is business, okay? But at the same time, we still build relationships. And if you're trying to grow your business, right? You're the CEO now, right? You've always been the CEO, but you were learning. You were, you know, doing on-the-job training, and you learned, like I did back in the day. You know, I was on the job learning, but you learned through mistakes, right? And you had success, but you're learning that as I built these relationships, it's going to help my business grow. I can get to the next level. I can add that other truck. I can add 2 more trucks. I'm now I'm talking to these people. Now I'm talking to this at this level with people. Now I am dealing with all these different people, and I have relationships built. And this is what's helping my company, to sustain my company, you know, to grow my company, to generate more revenue, and all the things that I'm doing. It supports other families, right? And so when we have a situation where, you know, within I mean, this is great. I mean, these things, I mean, the things that are going on today, um, within the country, everyone is not feeling it the same way, right? You know, there are people getting laid off, fired, whatever you want to call it. Um, and then with agencies being closed, there are other companies, other contracted companies that are losing out. They have to shut their doors. And then in those cities, the economy gets becomes challenged because then they're not spending money like they were before at local businesses and things like that, and it just becomes a snowball effect. So when we make decisions, it's very important, whether how we message it, the decisions that are made, and thinking them through, measuring how these the impact of those decisions that are made. So as far as that goes, the reason I bring that up is through it all, in terms of having the right mindset, that's one. There are challenges that we are going to face, okay? And we have to be able to be resourceful, and we have to understand how relationships really matter. Relationships can help us through situations, right? They can help us, and we can help others as well. And we can help each other, and we grow and prosper together. Right. So I have an article that I did write in regards to building relations, wrote it last month, and it's just so appropriate for the times, for what's going on right now. And it's out on our blog, which you can go to Elevate, www.elevate, ELEVATEFR8, the number 8.com. So that's www.elevatefr8.com. And you can go to our blog section, and then there should be the most recent article. I think it's February 11th. I think it is 10th or 11th, the last article. And it's about building relationships, the importance of that, and to how to make that last, for lasting success. It's titled something like that. But you can go there. The website's moving a little slow. It's a new website working on, and so I'll keep you guys abreast as to what we're doing on the website. But you can go on there and check that out. It's the critical role of relationships in the trucking industry, building solid relationships for lasting success. So that you can check that out. Yet at the same time, I can send it to you. So if you want to send me an email, let me know, or give me a call, 866-342-0040, extension 109. Give me a call, or you can send me an email at paul.k@fr8connect.com. Okay. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. I really appreciate the time. Hopefully you guys made it all the way through to the end of this, or came back to it and made it to the end. What we're going to be doing is, again, Fridays is what I'm going to come here. I'm not going to be as long as I was. I mean, is it 45 minutes? Right on track. Plan to do like 30 minutes and then be done. Okay. That's what I plan to do. And, but ultimately I want to be able to get some interaction and be able to talk to you guys about some things. And, I'd love to hear of some topics that you'd be interested in talking about, but I don't know. We'll see how this goes. And I'm just going to try to move in the way that it makes best sense, so that we can really bring value to you all. So there's a lot of things that we can offer, and I'm really excited for it. 2025, who knows? There's a lot of uncertainty out there, but that makes things interesting, right? And there can come a lot of opportunity in situations like this. So we want to talk about those things. So I really appreciate you guys. I am done here. I want you guys, hopefully, I want you to have a great weekend. Hopefully you do. And then we'll talk on the other side. All right. Have a great weekend. Take care. Just got to figure out how to turn this off. Take care.